You are listening to NEUROMINDED, where we discuss perspectives and ideas as we navigate the mysteries of the cosmos. Thank you for tuning in to NEUROMINDED. In today's episode, we will be discussing urban legends.
Hey, how are you doing today? Or all three of you watching. My name is Patrick Graff. I am host number 1.
I am Sean. I am host number 2.
I'm Mike, and I'm just here to enjoy the show as host number 3.
There you go. He won't be here long.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Episode-wise, me.
After this episode, just
You'll never see me
I'm
again.
out of here.
Nah,
see
he'll
you
show up
deuces.
later.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, no. Today's episode, we're going to be focusing a lot on the cryptids. If I'm saying that
Yes.
right. Urban legends, and what was the last one?
Aliens.
Aliens.
Which I actually don't have anything about. Personally, I don't know much about it or even think much about it. But yeah, these topics are just very interesting to us in a sense. I do want to start off the episode with talking about the last episode.
Oh, this is very, very tragic information.
That's tragic.
Brace yourselves, guys. This is
it's big stuff.
man.
No, I just we're working through these, trying to get better at it. After watching the tape, you see where you want to fix things, and one thing we're going to try to work on, and hopefully we can get better at it, is the talk, like when we talk over each other. And then also the one thing I personally am going to work on is I was very distracting, guys, right? When I was just moving side to side constantly, like a nervous tick almost. But I'll work on that today, if that distracted you guys last time you watched. Otherwise, we're just trying to have fun, so it probably will never be perfect, but each time, we're gonna attempt to do more things. Sean, if you want to start off with the descriptor of the episode itself, and then we can go from there.
All right, thank you, Patrick. Yeah, so with today's episode, we will be discussing just like the weird stuff you might see online. So cryptids, that's how they define like the creatures, say Bigfoot, Chupacabra, Loch Ness Monster. Those are all defined as being cryptids. So they're essentially these mythical creatures that a whole bunch of people say that they see them, but do they really see them though? I don't know. We're going to be discussing some of the cooler ones that have come up on the internet. Urban legends, just, that could be anything in your hometown. You read about something like Bloody Mary, Resurrection Mary, all those fancy folks. And then aliens. You all know aliens. Actually, you don't know aliens because we've never met them. But aliens, we're just going to discuss things like UFOs and potential life on other planets, etc., etc.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to be specific, but we're talking about aliens from the sky.
Yeah. Yeah, actually from underground.
I mean, maybe mole people, are they considered? That's a good question. Are mole people aliens?
They could.
Maybe
Maybe
from the surface, so they're like alien to the Earth. I mean, they're not alien to the Earth, but they're alien to the surface.
So like a microorganism that turned into mole people could have crashed on this planet, taken a trip with a meteor, right? And then that's how they were. Yeah.
Lived, and then now they're coming
they
out.
just thrived.
I mean, an idea. I mean, we're going off of aliens in a general sense. I mean, isn't that how we describe people that are not native to areas?
Right, they're alien to the area.
So
yeah, we're speaking extraterrestrials. There we go. Extraterrestrials.
Not that anyone is confused.
Yeah.
All right. To be different from the last episode, let's start with Mikey. Do you have Mikey? Since I did not ask you if you had any prepared things to talk about, I'm just gonna ask you now. Do you have a topic or something that you were wanting to start off with? Because I personally have 3, but I don't want to start and be the only person in a sense. So I want to kind of throw that to you so you can kind of host at a higher level. Do you have something? I mean, even if you want to just start off with just.
I got a couple things. So
yeah. Let's start with the first thing you want to talk about.
So
we'll go from there.
I decided to look from where we are from, just to put it more towards closer to like home. So I got some stuff from like Illinois, got some stuff from South Carolina. And which one do I want to start with though is the question. I'll start with the one in Illinois. So this is an urban legend, all right?
Oh, you got okay, cool.
Yeah, I got an urban legend. So have you ever heard of Homie the Clown?
No.
All right. So wrong one right here. Where is that? Where the frick did it go? Hold on.
Oh my god.
There it is. I got it. I got it. Here.
You mess up one more time, dude. We're deleting your
Homie
channel.
I'm just gonna.
But anyways.
Please kick.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
You're hurting my feelings. I feel offended.
No, I
no, just kidding. I'm just kidding. So this originated in 1991. And so Homie the Clown was a North American urban legend surrounding a killer clown predating the creepy clown craze by several years. The story sparked intense public controversy and even caused a localized hysteria, very much like the creepy clown craze would many years later. Despite this controversy, remains largely open to a debate with no hard evidence existing to prove or disprove that Homie the Clown existed, or if he was the product of the imagination or a prank. So let me find the actual article. There it is. So pretty much Homie the Clown, the sightings were like a strange clown that would be seen like stalking children and often tried to get them to enter his car or van. With legends soon spreading that this clown was a child molester, serial killer, or deranged maniac out to sexually assault and murder children.
Oh my god.
And that's all that one really, that's all that article was really talking about. But I thought that was wild, dude. Especially around the time that we were all like born.
No,
I was born in 93, so like
I was born in 91, so that was the year of. Okay, well that's really interesting in the sense of you were talking about clown craze. I don't know anything about clown craze.
Remember, like
the only thing I can assume is like, was that around the time of like Stephen King's It or no?
No, it was.
That wasn't part of the.
Let me see. It says,
what is what is that?
It was.
Someone fact check that.
It was in Living Color. It was a 90s comedy in which the criminal was dressed. Yeah.
And Jim Carrey?
Yep. That's it.
Shit. Okay. Wow. Because I was gonna say the way you're talking about it sounded a lot like It, except obviously it's not actually a clown. Spoiler alert.
So another thing that's kind of crazy about the story of Homie the Clown is John Wayne Gacy, who lived in Illinois, was born in Chicago, died in the correctional center that is down the street from my job. Didn't know that till just now. But John Wayne Gacy, he was typically known as the killer clown because he was a clown who often dressed up, and he would perform at children's hospitals and charitable events as Pogo the Clown or Patches the Clown.
Dude, so weird too, because I was just listening to like a podcast and they were talking about Gacy and they were saying how he did it for free, right? He didn't charge people to be a clown. He did that for fun. Like he enjoyed doing that with kids because he didn't kill kids, right? He just basically like used that imagery in his whole serial killing was this like imagery of a clown. Yeah. Because I mean, I doubt he wore the clown.
Oh, he didn't wear it when he did it. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just killing people, but then he's just like, you know what I mean? It's like,
fucking wild, dude.
So wild, dude. That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting when you're talking about this clown craze, just because I still don't get it, and it reminds me of like
craze. You remember the
when all those people were dressed up as clowns.
no, is that what
And there
you're-
were pictures like
That's
just
what
a few
they're
years
talking
ago.
about, yeah.
Or no,
no,
did this
I
happen again
remember
back
that.
then? Are you saying that the clown craze happened
Yeah, can you
in the 80s?
After. Like
Oh, so a couple years ago.
This guy was before the clown craze. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that this happened before all that clown craze happened.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
decades.
clarified.
Yeah.
Because I legit thought you were saying 91 was a clown craze, and that's
No.
why it was actually effective for him to do that at the time. Okay, so you're saying
They're saying it was
outside of
before
that.
it, yeah.
Okay,
It
outside of
was way
Bozo the
before, yeah.
Okay. So it's like Bozo the Crown. Bozo the Crown. No. But that's it's like interesting how like clowns have always been such a large imagery of like fear and like twisted imagery almost, because it's like you keep seeing like throughout media different depictions of clowns being evil, and then obviously there's depictions of clowns being, you know, funny, silly, loving or whatever. You know, you got these like celebrity clowns that people love and shit. But I don't know, it's just like I feel like when it comes to me though, I don't like clowns imagery in the first place. So I feel like if I was a kid, I probably wouldn't get in that van. I don't know if you guys would.
No.
You guys ever really liked clowns? I don't think I've ever really liked clowns.
I never
you know what
really
I mean?
liked clowns that much. I knew
Man.
Bozo, you said that was his name, right? The one that was popular around here.
Bozo
then-
Buckets, remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was
Bozo
Bozo the
Buckets.
clown, and then there was Cookie or something, right? His sidekick.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
That's a
know.
cool
Bozo
name though. It's a
and
cool name
Cookie.
for a clown.
Yep, Cookie. Yeah. So we went to a live show for it when I was really little. No one was murdered, so that's good. And
Everyone came back. That's
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
always nice to go somewhere and then you come back to your home
Not murdered.
the same same way that you left. That's always
Yeah.
a
So
successful trip
Cookie
then.
is spelled Cooky,
That's misspelled,
and that
sir.
yeah, and that's
Grammar.
the sidekick.
Yes.
But
Sounds
fun
like they need to go
fact,
back.
or maybe not fun fact about John Wayne Gacy. I was reading about it. He would dupe his victims into donning handcuffs on the pretext of demonstrating a magic trick. So he wasn't dressed up like a clown, but he was trying to be like, hey, you want to see a magic trick?
he pulled a Joker and he's fucking killing people.
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm not going to read the rest of this this because it's like, wow, okay, it just goes from 1 to 100 really quick. Because it just
I mean,
talks
is it
about
all
what he does. It just says what he
Yeah.
does to the victims for the most part, which isn't worth touching on right now because it's not fun stuff.
No, it's
We
not.
could always do a serial killer episode.
I would probably just be like kind of learning, because honestly I don't know shit about it.
I used
It's
to be
funny.
obsessed.
I bet if I talk to Ashley, I bet Ashley could give me some
Yeah.
really good content though.
Yep.
Maybe that's what I'll do. If we do an episode, I'll like basically use Ashley as my sense of like gathering the research that I could try
Yeah.
to bring.
Well, the one book that
shit
Ashley
alive.
has is called Chasing the Boogeyman, and
Yeah.
that's like a fact/fiction tale of a serial killer that the author had actually knew of in his hometown. But I think he kind of restructured it to be more of a fictional story. But yeah, I'm sure Ashley would.
Hey, question, Mikey, about the clown. Did they tell you how many kids he killed?
No. It's just
Okay.
like no one knows if it's actually true or not. This
Yeah.
is all like
wow,
an
okay.
urban legend.
I love how
People,
I legitly took it as if it was reality
Yeah.
too. That's so interesting. How like that's
Pat's
just how
like-
it is.
Pat's sitting there like, oh my god, I lived right over here,
yeah,
and this guy was killing
I was
people.
one of the kids. I got away.
because what it says is there is no hard evidence existing
Right.
to prove or disprove that this was happening.
And I mean,
Man.
welcome to urban
That's-
legends, right?
Yeah,
That's the thing.
That's what
Welcome to religion, man.
That's why I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
that was a good one. That's why I thought it was a
Yeah.
good one to actually start with.
That's a good one.
Absolutely.
That's a really
Yeah.
good one. Sean, would you like to go next, or do you want me to go?
Yeah, so we'll stick with urban legends then, right? We can do it
Yeah,
by
let's keep
that. Okay, so an urban legend, Pat's familiar with this one. So Resurrection Mary, Archer Cemetery. Is this what you were going to talk about?
Me, no, I wasn't
Okay,
talking about.
okay, because I know you put Bloody Mary, but
I love it. No,
yeah.
I love the concept for that one. That one's interesting, just because I haven't attempted to be a part of it in my own way. You know what I mean? Visiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's talk about it.
So, for some context, when Patrick and myself and a group of friends were just being little hooligans, we sometimes would go into a cemetery at night, just because it was an open cemetery and it was just spooky, right? But attached to the cemetery was the story of Resurrection Mary, and the story goes that Mary had spent the Let's start over. The story goes that Mary had spent the evening dancing with the boyfriend at the O. Henry Ballroom. At some point, they got into an argument, and Mary stormed out. She left the ballroom and started walking up Archer Avenue. She had not gotten very far when she was struck and killed by a hit-and-run driver who fled the scene, leaving Mary to die. Her parents found her and were grief-stricken at the sight of her body. They buried her in Resurrection Cemetery, wearing a beautiful white dancing dress and matching dancing shoes. The hit-and-run driver never found. So since then, people have reported sightings of her as they drive by. You know, just this female in like a dress. Some even say that they picked her up and then she just disappeared after being in the back seat for a little bit. And then there's other things which is very close to home to what I experienced, was that they heard the screams, like the shrieking of a female, like a blood-curdling scream. People reported sightings of that. Well, when we were at Archer before, we heard the screams. But they were just like a pack of coyotes. That's like, were you there for that one, Patrick?
The coyotes? No,
yeah,
I don't think
okay.
I was, no.
So like, you hear the screaming, but after a while I realized that like that was an animal or something, and then when I looked it up, you look up like what coyotes sound like, what they sound like when they scream or when they howl, whatever. It could be it could be essentially the sound of a screaming woman. And I always appreciated that experience, because it's always cool to be on that side of like an urban legend. You could like put the pieces together, like, oh, this is why this was added to the whole like lore of the situation.
Oh yeah, because like then more than a single group of people are hearing that consistently.
Yeah,
it's like the idea of alien sightings, where after some people hear certain things, they're also listening for that noise, right?
Right.
Because I remember when we went, I was waiting and listening for shit. I mean, I remember the thing that freaked me out when I went to that cemetery was, like when we were walking down the path, out of nowhere we all heard a huge boom. But it almost felt psychological, that as if maybe it wasn't even like a boom of what we thought it was. My thought was it sounded like a cannon, but it was maybe a noise from some other thing. So like there's a logical explanation behind it, but if people are hearing certain things, then they can tie it to, paranormal activity. That's another reason why I'm like being a skeptic personally is kind of like, I don't know what exactly I'll ever see that will actually push me to the edge of not being skeptic, because I just feel like at a certain rate there's always something that kind of explains these paranormal stuffs or things that seem paranormal. Like, I don't know, this whole thing with
Resurrection Mary.
Thank you for saying it so I can follow. Was that I feel like that's just like some people, they only see that because they're looking for it and wanting to see it,
Yep.
And I don't know, it's possible that like people are seeing imageries and stuff like that, but I don't know.
Like, context to the road where a lot of this takes place.
Yeah.
Do you hear this?
No. Can't hear it. Is it one of those noises that you can only hear if you're a certain age?
No, it's just like it's a pack of coyotes.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
But like they don't sound like they're blood curdling women screams, but they sound like these whiny little like very high pitched.
That's good. I like that.
But anyway,
you sound just like a coyote.
Yeah, man. Wow, what a coyote.
The road around Archer Cemetery and all that. It's all just forest. So when you're driving through at night, like the way that the headlights bounce off of some of those trees and bushes and the brush, you could definitely think you see something. The way that it illuminates,
it means like shadows.
Yeah, and there could be something that someone working on the like forest ranger who was working during the day left a piece of equipment out there. That reflection is going to make you think you see something that's not actually there.
Without a doubt. And it's interesting because it's like, this is actually a tale that people love to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's actually really disturbing to think that it became such a popular like location and stuff like that. But like I was talking to someone recently about like visiting it, and like when you go to that cemetery, and this is where I can only say what they said. I can't actually say that I saw it myself. But they said that like people just like graffiti shit and they're like making messes in that cemetery and stuff. And
that's
it's like,
really
because
sad.
because more people visit it and more people are showing up, and you know, more people are like shitty. So like you have a larger rate of vandalism and stuff. So I think that's like, it sucks because then it makes it like that creepy thing, like, oh, how fun would it be to go maybe see a ghost? But then like you get there and everything's all disgusting. You're like, dude, I don't even want to stay because this is like gross, you know?
Right.
Like they defiled it in a sense. So I don't know. That's interesting though that that you had that experience with the coyotes, and I had an experience personally with like that noise. But it like, we both are like logical enough, I think, to be like,
like we
could be something else.
We find that logical conclusion. And just, I'm not going to go into detail about Bachelor's Grove, but that's another urban legend that's kind of around here. I've been to that cemetery a few times. It's like,
what city is that, by the way? I don't remember. Is it called Bachelor's Grove?
It's by me. Yeah. So the cemetery is called Bachelor's Grove.
Is that the one that's in like a forest area? Like you have to go through. Yeah, I've been
It's
there.
in Bremen Township.
If you go into those trees back behind, like if you kept walking and you start seeing a bunch of witchcraft stuff.
You might be thinking of a different one. There's one closer to like Chicago you might be thinking of. This one's by Midlothian and Oak Forest.
Midlothian.
But the thing about Bachelor's Grove,
12 people.
What's up?
Then I went with like 12 people. I've also been to Ox Sable, I think, too.
Is that the one you're not allowed to go in, by the way, the Bachelor's Grove? Or
no, you could walk. Yeah, you could walk through Bachelor's Grove.
How about at night, though?
I mean, yeah, probably not, because like every forest preserve, I think they technically like you can't go into it.
It has like a sundown time frame.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, that's I haven't heard that name in a long time, Bachelor's Grove.
Yeah, it's right. It's pretty close to me.
I pass by Archer Avenue sometimes.
Yeah, I was doing that when I was still working my other job. I would take the roads. But yeah.
Well, I like this. I mean, Mikey, did we ask you, or did you say if you know about that Archer Avenue
Resurrection Mary?
No.
Ever heard about that? Isn't that weird though?
Yeah.
That story
really
is the weirdest thing.
That's why I was quiet.
Like, why the heck would you like find your daughter's body and then bury it? Like, why wouldn't you like? I mean, unless the story is just told like that, but there is actually like police work or whatever.
Yeah.
To try to find out what happened, but it just comes off to me hearing it that way that they literally were like, "We found the body, then we buried it." It just seems like they're hiding something, but I don't know.
So with Bachelor's Grove, since I'm already on this topic real quick.
Okay, yeah.
So under reported phenomena, the most common of the reported phenomena on this site typically involve floating orbs of light over tombstones and near collisions with a phantom vehicle. Interesting. Orbs in itself is an interesting concept. I feel like it might be some sort of more technical glitch, but a lot of people liken orbs to spirits. And I'm sure a lot of the pictures that are taken at Bachelor's Grove are orbs. They're bearing orbs. There's also like specific manifestations reported. This is what the Wikipedia says. I'm not really going to go into all of them, except Phantom Farmhouse. It's a farmhouse that is purported to shimmer, float, and then vanish. This was reported during the 50s, I guess. But funny thing about this is that a lot of people say that there is a house in that forest preserve if you keep walking to the back. But I remember when I went hiking over there with my wife, we never came across any sort of cabin in the woods or anything like that. No foundation or anything either. But allegedly, I think even one of her friends had come across some sort of cabin in the forest surrounding Bachelor's Grove.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, do they have photos, by the way?
No. But
See, that's
also though, just there could be just like a little cabin, a little house.
I mean, there could, but it's just weird how like people keep saying they see it and they don't have photos. Like,
And then
I feel like
in
nowadays
the 50s,
it's kind of easy.
right. But like in the 50s,
yeah.
someone could have come up to it and then forgot where they had it, like where they saw it, and then when they're trying to show their friends, it was just here. But they're actually, you know, like a mile behind where it actually was.
That position, for sure.
But
well, I guess I'm just saying, like, when people nowadays would say
absolutely
they saw the cabin to me, I feel like I'm too skeptic to like believe it without like a photo, just because it's like, because even then, like a cabin in the woods isn't that creepy. Because so what? It's just a built cabin. It's just real estate that someone put together.
If anything, brown recluse spiders being inside of that cabin, that's scary stuff right there. Because those suckers are poisonous.
We got a lot of those out here.
Oh, ooh,
yeah.
They like moist areas. Are you in an apartment right now?
Yeah.
You should be safe. You're not first floor, right?
No, not here when I'm working, dude.
Oh my god, dude.
Those
be
dudes are
careful.
always on you, I bet.
I got, what was it? I think it was like a wood something, but they look identical.
Ooh.
And I got bit by one, so we were like just standing there, and we're like, hey, you call the office real quick?
You gonna die?
And we looked, and I guess there's also like, they're called hobo spiders, and there's a bunch of like
Hoboken
shit out here.
Yeah.
But
Hoboken spiders.
Yeah, so with the brown recluse, you could survive being bitten by one. My cousin got bit by one years ago. He was spending the night in the basement of a different aunt and uncle of mine, and it like a mark, like a big ass just bruise looking wound on your leg or wherever you get bit. It does not look good.
Imagine if you got bit in the face.
Oh my god, you'd be like,
oh man,
half your face would just
be gone.
Be gone.
Before we
half your face.
Right. Yeah. Before we move forward, real quick, me and Pat, super skeptics. So if anybody listening is the opposite of a skeptic, we would love to have you on here just to hear your stories.
Oh,
and we don't want you guys on here so you could discredit them. We would love to actually hear about it and maybe see some things that maybe you've witnessed. That I think would be awesome.
But we would also like to point out why we think maybe that happened to you.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, maybe. No, but also, if like, it was, if you have the information, I mean,
if it was requested, if I'm requested to justify it in a different sense in which you are saying you experienced it, then of course I will gladly oblige.
But otherwise, it would be interesting, just because like I've had experiences where I thought that I saw paranormal things, but then I justified it later. So
yeah,
some people, they don't even think about whether or not it's justified, you know, and that's fine. That's also fine. I mean, Ashley is probably my number one like resource for like paranormal things and belief and stuff like that, just because it's like she just, I mean, if you want to believe, I think that's a beautiful thing. You know?
Absolutely.
I think that's great. But yeah, no, I wanted to ask you a question about the Resurrection Mary.
Yep, go ahead.
So do you happen to see whether or not there still is a lot of reports, and not like a lot of reports in the sense of like the volume of reports, but like within the last couple years, do you think there's been any like people saying, "Oh, I saw her," or is that kind of like dated now?
I'm pretty sure that's dated.
Okay, because I keep thinking about
I'm even
that
looking
too.
it up now. It's nothing.
My number one joke when it comes to these like people fighting spirits and stuff like that is the amount of places in the world where someone gets killed for whatever reason, and then there's no like ghost for them. It's just, to me, it's weird because it just seems so convenient.
Yeah,
you know, it's kind of like that joke where it's like, when are the ghosts going to start being more updated? You know, when are we going to start seeing ghosts that are saying the word yeet and like, you know, they're like freaking, or
they're
like even
adapting.
Like 90s ghosts, you know what I mean? Yeah, like even like a 90s ghost that says like some slang from 90s. It just feels like everything is so like people from like the 1800s, or I don't even know exactly, but like we're so old. So I just think it's funny. I'm excited for the future when we start hearing about ghosts like that, just because I feel like sooner or later there's got to be, you know, a legend about something that's more current than like the 1800s.
And then
But okay.
I heard something in the night. I put my ear close to the door, and the spirit told me, "These nuts." Like, if I was a spirit, I'd be trying to get people on shit like that. I'd be like trolling the hell out of them.
I thought you were gonna do the Wendy.
Wendy's nuts.
It's Wendy. Wendy?
Here's Wendy.
Or
Your name is
Here's
Wendy?
Johnny.
watch
Yeah.
her for the dragon.
Dragging these
Dragging
nuts.
these nuts. You know, like, I don't know. I feel like ghosts have to have a sense of humor too, man. Sooner or later. All right, guys. If you don't mind, I'd like to do
Go
my
ahead.
first
Yep.
one. All right, this one is something that literally I looked up a couple urban legends, and I was like, you know what? I want to try to find something that neither of you guys know anything about, just to kind of have something more fresh. I mean, yours was fresh as fuck. Sean, yours was cool, but it wasn't fresh to my sense.
Yeah, because it's something that we've both had
we both know.
a personal,
But I
like
do
a
have
personal
one
stake.
that's not fresh at all, because literally all three of us is gonna know my last one.
I'm not gonna know it.
What, you're not?
Nope.
You're definitely
No,
gonna know
even if he
There's
knows it,
way.
no. Just
I'm gonna
ignore
start
him,
with it
because
now
even if
because
he
I'm
knows
pissed.
it, Mikey's
Yeah.
gonna be like, "No, I've never heard of it."
Okay.
I never heard
Shut
that Doofenshmirtz ass story.
The urban legend of
Doofenshmirtz.
Kylie, the baby that won't sleep. No.
It's not a legend, bro. I
That's
have it.
reality.
I have
Reality.
that.
All right. Okay. Cool. So this one is actually called the Bunny Man Myth.
Ooh.
All right. Halloween night comes around. Nothing happens until midnight. Right before midnight, supposedly a bunny or two enters the bridge. Right before midnight, his soul, a dim light, walks the tracks above the bridge. When midnight hits, his soul stops right above the bridge, dead center, and disappears, only to reappear inside the bridge. From then on, it's his soul which lights up the whole area so brightly that you can't even see him. That's when he instantly kills you by slitting your throat, slashing your chest, and only to hang you by the edge of the bridge. You can see the rub marks that have worn away at the rocks where the bodies were swinging. Whoever is inside the bridge ends up dead. That was from Forbes. That's their
description of it.
description of it. Yeah. So this informant grew up in Washington D.C. and she would always hear the urban legend of the Bunny Man Bridge in Virginia. This was in Virginia, which she claims was also the inspiration for the bunny in Donnie Darko.
Oh, that's dope. Okay, I knew I heard it somewhere.
There's a very old tunnel with a overpass in Virginia. She says that in the early 19th century, an accident occurred over the tunnel, and it was transporting all these convicts, violent types. Some of the passengers escaped, and the police were eventually able to find all of them except one. When they were searching for these men, they kept finding half-eaten rabbits. So they named him the Bunny Man. Now the tunnel is called the Bunny Man Bridge. Also, my informant said that she heard from her friends, if you go to the bridge and you walk halfway through and then turn around, you will see the Bunny Man standing there. She had never tried it, but many friends had. See, that's where I'm like, well, what happened to them?
Yeah.
Right?
Did they live to see?
Yeah, they lived. I mean, otherwise you would be like, my friends have done it and died. The legend of the Bunny Man is actually a very prominent legend in Virginia. The tale goes back to 1903 in Clifton, Virginia, where there used to be an asylum, which was later relocated and is now called Lorton Prison. In fall 1904, many convicts were put on a bus and sent to prison. Accident happened, and then fled into the woods. They actually had trouble finding two of the convicts, Marcus and Douglas. I think this is another depiction of the legend. However, they found Marcus, which later named the Bunny Man. Oh, they never found Marcus. Then Halloween, people started seeing dead bunnies across the road again. On midnight Halloween night, a few kids had gone to the bridge, saw a bright light of the tunnel, and then were murdered by the same kind of tool that they found in Marcus's hand almost a year before. Not only were their throats slashed, but can you guys guess what else?
Half eaten.
No, their chests were slashed too, guts hanging out. And then both guys were hung from the bridge, and the woman on the other side. then this happened many years in the same way, right? This piece of folklore component as a myth. My informant told me that many teens today still and try to see the bunny man, but the murders only occurred around midnight on Halloween night. Some of the variations of the legend involve murdering while in a bunny suit, you know, and they get pretty far-fetched from there, stuff like that. But basically the idea is like, you know, it kind of reminds me of like Michael Myers, right? Like Michael Myers, he killed only on Halloween. I guess this bunny man, he only kills bunnies on every other day, but when Halloween comes, he's like, I'm done eating bunnies. I gotta murder to satisfy this stomach, you know? So I don't know. It's funny. It's just interesting to think about this one, just because it sounds like a serial killer, and it sounds like this would be very easy to like pinpoint something on, but it seems like people have different depictions of the story. That it's like, you know, one person actually thinks there's a person named Marcus, right? And this Marcus person, they don't know his last name, so it's even weirder that like they're just saying Marcus and Douglas. Yeah, hey Marcus, if you're listening, Marcus, don't kill me in a bunny
Don't
suit.
kill me. Don't do it.
You can kill me without a bunny suit, because it'd be embarrassing if you have the bunny suit on.
No, put me in the bunny suit and then kill me.
And then kill me. There you go.
I want to die in the bunny suit.
So,
Yeah, no, these guys sound like velociraptors, man. Or this bunny man fucking getting people's throats and their chests, man.
Yeah.
Just reminds me of that scene from Jurassic Park, the first one.
Oh, and it's
They
like,
get you,
look at you.
spice your stomach, your guts come out.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I just find these like murder ones the most interesting, just because like what Mikey was saying about his is like they're saying people are dying, but they're like, well, give us a roster. Who died?
Yeah.
Like, it almost without
could
a roster,
trace it.
just like you got to trace it somewhat. So that's why it's interesting how it still gets sold. And being in Virginia is I mean, obviously I don't know anything about Virginia, but I mean, I guess it still happens. Kind of makes me want to visit that bridge just to see
hey,
what it
you
looks
guys,
like.
you guys want to go Halloween?
On Halloween,
I'll just
go
run
Halloween.
under there. I'll just
I was
run
gonna say-
under there.
See, you're close
How
to
many-
Virginia, though,
I
so
know,
it's
I'll-
easy
I'll
for
bet
you.
How many
Hey.
people have done that though? I wonder.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll do that. Look, one of you guys on one side of the bridge, one of you on the other side of the bridge, and then I'll run through it.
Yeah.
The bridge
So,
thing.
like-
Hold on.
Dude, that would suck though. What if like we were standing? Okay, so what if like Sean was on one side, I was on the other side, and then you run through, right? Whatever, which way? But then the bunny man appears right in front of us, but his back is to us. So there's like, well, like what the fuck? And then it goes and kills you. Then what do me and Sean do? Like it looks like
Get
me
on
and Sean,
film, dude, and then you prove it's legit.
and you'd be. Your
It's like,
dying words,
I'll go
and you're
down there.
bleeding out, and the guts are coming out of you. You're gonna say, "Did you get that?"
Yep, exactly.
And then
So
I'll be like, "Shit, I didn't press record." Fuck.
Hey, can
Hey,
we
buddy,
redo
man, come
that?
back. Can you do it
Hey,
again?
can you do this again?
Can you do it again, please?
okay, so Chris Stuckman did a review of a movie called Butterfly Kisses that I ended up watching, and the concept is very similar to that with the bridge. I'm gonna pull it up now. But the idea, the folklore in the book, in the movie, it's like a found footage film, like a documentary, so to speak, about this urban legend. Yeah. So, you guys could keep talking. I'm just gonna find the segment about the bridge.
Yeah, sure. I just, it's like interesting too, because it's like, even if hundreds of people do that thing on Halloween, and the Bunny Man doesn't show up, people are still gonna think that the urban legend is real or whatever, right? So funny how like no matter how many times someone can disprove it, there's still so many people that are just like, the urban legend of the Bunny Man.
it's
It's
true.
like it wouldn't go away, and that's what makes these things so like interesting, because like, they're like they stand the test of time because they're so creepy, and we want to believe that something creepy like this happened or can still happen any day. Like maybe you're lucky, maybe you're one of the lucky hundreds that didn't die, and then someone who was alone, who had no way of proving anything, they're the ones that died, you know.
Or if
And
I
they're
was the
ones
bunny
that are
man,
missing,
yeah, if I was the bunny man and the person by themselves, I wouldn't kill them. I would just make sure they could get no evidence of me being there. I'd be like,
for
go ahead,
sure.
tell them.
And make it even
Tell
different too. I wouldn't even kill them. I would just like hurt them in a different way.
Yeah.
But then that way they'll be like, I got attacked by the bunny man. What happened? He cut my foot. The bunny man doesn't do that.
Yeah.
If the bunny man saw you, you'd be dead. He wouldn't just cut your foot.
Yeah.
He did. Are you sure you didn't cut your own foot?
Right. So with
I
the bridge
did.
thing, so
Trolling.
that was not Butterfly Kisses. It was another Chris Stuckman review I watched. Shout out to Chris Stuckman. It was when he reviewed The Empty Man, and when I saw The Empty Man, a piece of the folklore of the Empty Man in this movie was to summon him. You go to a bridge, you pick up an empty bottle, and you blow into it. That's what I was thinking. But both of those movies have a scene on a bridge, and it just it reminded me of this whole bunny situation.
Empty man. That's so interesting. What a
Yeah.
name.
The thing that sucks about these urban legends is it's all a game of telephone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what at
You
the
know what I
beginning
mean?
of the thing.
Like it
it's
really,
telephone.
like what really happened? Like
Yeah.
legit, what really happened?
What really happened was there probably was someone who killed someone that way, because in the
just-
beginning of the lore, someone had to be hanging from that bridge dead. They had to, otherwise it doesn't exist.
Or a kid
But the
just said
idea-
that he saw that.
Yeah, right.
They're like, oh
And
man,
then-
the cops must have
Like,
taken him in.
And just like those parents, they just pulled the body down and buried it. They didn't tell anyone.
Like it was like someone heard about the guy and then they're adding their own 2 cents. Like it
Oh,
was just
yeah.
like some dude got like stabbed, you know? Like someone
Yeah.
dude just they hung him from the bridge.
And the guy who
then-
did it was
yeah,
wearing
just
a bunny suit.
and I feel like all these urban legends start probably around a campfire, like
Yeah.
camping, you know, when they tell like
Yeah.
ghost stories and stuff. Guaranteed that's how all this starts.
Dude,
Especially when they have no evidence.
Isn't it like the famous one with the claw hand, which is basically like fucking I Know What You Did Last Summer? You like the tinging on like
Yeah.
the claw, the man with the one hand and the claw or whatever. Is
The
like
hook.
Captain Hook.
scratching the
Captain
hook. Yeah, the
Hook.
hook. Sorry,
Oh,
not
no,
the
that's
claw.
Peter
Yeah, the
Pan.
hook scratching at the car door and stuff like that with like the 2 teenagers that are like in the car or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's like, I think this one's also very interesting because it pulls back to that idea of like a costumed person murdering people, like a faceless person almost.
Right.
Like, you know, it gets to a point of like monsters, like a monster rabbit was killing people. I don't know, I think that's like the most interesting thing about it is that like it's almost like we're not satisfied with just humans killing other humans, that it's more interesting to think like some paranormal monster thing killed people. Because like the thing about it, I mean, obviously the storyline is like you have to do it a certain way for the bunny man to show up, so it's not like you just show up there. You have to do a certain thing
Right.
for him to show up. It's like when you have these details that are just, it's obviously making it paranormal in a sense, because it's like what this bunny man is like studying people, and as soon as they do exactly what he expects or wants them to do, okay, now I'm gonna go kill this person. Like,
Right.
that's silly, obviously silly.
He picked up the cracker, time to kill him. Like,
I mean, if we ever do this episode again and we find like the funniest like urban legend of like the
yeah.
most ridiculous thing, like all you gotta do is go
Yeah.
in there and pull down that mannequin's pants, and then the killer will come and kill you, or something, you know, something stupid.
The bunny man's like sidekick's like, go kill them. What are you waiting for? He didn't step to the left 3 times. Just he did everything else. He did the spin. He touched his forehead with his big toe. Like, what else do you want? He didn't step to the left 3 times. I can't kill him on
Can't
principle.
fucking do it, man. It's like he has OCD or
Come
something.
on, yeah,
right?
exactly.
He's
Most
like
of
an
these
OCD
killers have
murderer.
OCD.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like at the end of the
All
day.
routine, you know, routine.
Situations. But yeah, no, the bunny man, I thought this was like the most funny thing just because in my head. And I also loved how it said Donnie Darko was the inspiration
Yeah.
for that bunny, or like not the, wait, how did I phrase that? I phrased that wrong. The
The
bunny
movie the movie Donnie Darko actually came out in the 1800s and
Yeah.
inspired this that happened in the early 1900s.
man, the Gyllenhaals are old.
Yeah, all ancient,
Man,
like they're immortal.
1800s? Damn, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal looks really good still, and he's
Oh, absolutely.
definitely not a young man anymore. Hollywood fucking eats the blood of the young or something, right? We all see these celebrities that look younger now than they did before. It's crazy.
Yeah, Paul Rudd,
Jennifer Aniston.
Paul Rudd, Tom
Jennifer
Cruise,
Aniston.
Jennifer
Aniston. Yep.
Dude,
Come on, boy.
you're being outed, all of you, right now.
Louise.
All 3 people that watch
I
this
don't
podcast are
give
gonna
a
fucking know
fuck.
you're eating little kids' blood. I don't know.
Yeah.
But okay. I love this. Like I said, I'll finish up my whole thing. I love this whole thing just because I love the idea of how there are multiple like stories that are like interesting, and the titles of it like are all the same thing. It's always the Bunny Man.
Yeah.
And then I want to finish up with the Bunny Man had been reported in a few other towns though in 1973.
Oh, he's a teleporter.
Right? And the Fox Family Channel series Scariest Place on Earth did a segment called Terror on Bunnyman Bridge in 2001. So if anyone is interested in finding that footage of that series of Scariest Places on Earth, maybe check that out, and then you'll know exactly what we were talking about right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mikey, do you want to do your second one, dude? I want to hear it.
Did you have more urban legends or?
Yeah, what do you got?
Oh.
Yeah, I still got
we're doing
urban
more.
legend.
Okay. All right.
I got a couple things.
And actually, I was gonna say, does anyone have not an urban legend?
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
because I'm trying to figure out, because if I have my 3, right, then when I exhaust my 3 and you guys start with the next one, I'm not gonna be able to contribute with stories, which is
I mean, you
I
can
think it's okay.
just. I mean, also you could come up with stuff just once we're talking about it.
Yeah,
like
honestly,
Aliens.
I'll just
like-
make stuff up. You know,
There you go.
Who cares?
No, but
Who
with
cares about
urban
the truth and
legends,
reality.
I only thought of the one, but I have another one in the bucket right now. So
I got.
I just thought of it.
Hell yeah.
I got another one I guarantee you guys probably never heard of.
Go ahead. I
All
want
right,
to hear
yeah, go
this.
ahead, do it.
I'm gonna
Hit
turn
us.
on a fan, by the way,
All
but
right.
you're good to go.
You ever heard of Julia Laguerre or Laguerre? I think that's how you say it.
No, that's a cool name though.
So
Hello, Julia.
this is back in the mid 1800s.
Oh yeah, we went to school together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, Julia, dude, she was the best. She could chug beer every day.
Was it Julia or Julian or Julio?
Julia.
Oh, Julia.
yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so Julia was visiting family on the island. She became ill and slipped into a coma. Her family anxiously awaited the day she would wake up, but that day never came. The family physician declared the young girl dead. The child was lovingly dressed for her funeral, where loved ones would pay her one last goodbye, or so they thought. In those days, long before the deceased were treated with embalming fluids to preserve the body before burial, the ceremonial activities surrounding death were conducted at a rapid pace. In order to avoid the inevitable decomposition, poor Julia was buried on the same day of her death after loved ones had a chance to pay their respects. Her little body was taken from the church and interred in the family mausoleum. After she was placed inside the crypt, the marble door was closed and securely locked, providing a sense of finality to the tragic death of the child. Julia's family went on with their lives as best as they could after suffering the loss. After 15 years have gone by, another death in the family required the mausoleum to be opened. It was then that the family realized what a tragic error they have made. Julia's remains, which had so long been entombed, were crumpled at the foot of the mausoleum door. She had been buried alive,
She got out.
but died because she couldn't leave the mausoleum because it was locked, secured,
So
shut.
she like starved to death in that sense.
Dude, and that's
Damn.
here in South Carolina, bro. Bishopville, South Carolina.
Man, you know, that just makes me think about that joke in The Office, Sean. Remember when they're burying Dwight's, is that aunt or whatever, and then they all have they have a shotgun and they shoot the body, and they're like, we just want to make sure she don't come back as a zombie, you know?
Yeah.
That's where, like, if they did something weird like that, like check the body a little thorough, then maybe they would have been able to get around that.
Yeah.
That's
There's.
crazy though.
Hey, there's more.
Oh
Okay.
shit. Okay. All right. Bring it on me.
So,
Got more going on.
the girl's remains were entombed once again, as were those of the relative whose death led to the grim discovery. and the door was securely closed once again. Still reeling from the horrible discovery at the mausoleum, the girl's family members visited the cemetery to pay their respects. When they did, its doors were open. Thinking that the door open had to have been the result of being improperly secured at the recent funeral, they shut the door again and walked away. A few weeks later, a clergyman at the church saw the door was open and ordered it to be closed. This happened again and again and again throughout the decades. Chains and unbreakable locks were used to keep it sealed tight, but they would always break and the door would be open. As little as 50 years ago, a door was put on that holy shit.
If anything, this
50
podcast can
years
help us learn
ago.
how to read to people.
For real, bro. As little as 50 years ago, a door was put on that could only be removed by industrial heavy machinery, and that door was also, open. Little Julia must have been particularly mad at that door because it was not the only open but completely unhinged from the museum. That's when everyone gave up trying to close the door. To this day, the original door is nothing more than broken marble that sits in the grassy doorway of the tomb.
Have you been there?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I'm really down to go, though.
You should go. You should go and take photos. Well, you know what I think is the most skeptical part of me is I'm like, why don't they just try one more time? No, listen.
Hey,
why don't they just try?
Here's a picture. There's a picture of the tomb.
In the general?
Or the
in the chat?
mausoleum.
In chat? Where are you sending it? Where are you sending it?
I was going to put it up here.
Yeah, do it. Just do it.
Oh, you're going to share it on the screen. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to let me finish my point. Not my criticism exactly.
It's not going to work, no.
I was going to say is would Sean have to open the stream?
I tried opening stream already.
Can you see it or no?
No, it's all just loading.
I would probably say when you do the edits later, Sean, maybe cut this part out.
No,
and then we'll organically get back to it. All right. But no, what I was saying before though is like my skeptic part of me is like, why don't they just rebuild the door now, and then put a security cam looking at it, so at least people can prove that it just keeps opening. Otherwise, like, I don't know. I don't believe it. It sounds like after a while, their whole thing with like, let me take a look at that. That's it.
That's the tomb. Nice. That's the mausoleum.
Part of me wondered why they even, like, at all, why they even felt the need to even have a door. Like, is that like a religious or like some sort of like respect for the dead thing?
Mausoleums are supposed to be something like that.
But like, who cares? Like, the body's dead. Like, unless they legit think that the body's gonna escape unless there's a door. I don't know. It's not.
Well, it's because they're not being buried underground, so they're being preserved. They want them to be preserved somewhere where people can't get into it unless.
Okay, so yeah, the only like logic is we're not worried about them coming out. We're about people going in. Okay, yeah, I get you.
Yeah,
but no, I don't know. I feel like
because even when you go in the mausoleum,
like crazy.
They're like in the wall. Like when you're walking through, I think it's more like they're in the wall and the sides. Oh, something like that. Just from what I've seen inside of a mausoleum.
That's a lot to take.
They have guards that stand at the mausoleum to this day to make sure nobody closes the door.
Oh wow.
Damn. Man, some jobs are just so damn easy, aren't they?
I like this is stuff I like to read about.
It's funny. It's really interesting, dog.
It is.
But yeah, I don't know, man.
This one actually has evidence, you know? They're like they got the mausoleum, they keep it open. Okay. Like obviously stuff probably it probably didn't happen over and over and over again. But
I mean, in my head it sounds like someone just kept breaking in. That's what it sounds like to me. But I mean, obviously, like
they claimed industrial machinery in order to open it,
Still open. Yeah.
But like it was probably just like they just locked it extra hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the guy who put it together is like,
the machinery was a lock.
No, the guy just locked it. And he's like, you're gonna need a bulldozer to get through this bad boy I just put up. And they took it literally. It's like, no, dude, I'm just saying I did a good job locking it. Like, what do you mean? It wasn't anything
It's
special.
an exaggeration. He's just exaggerating how good he did.
Yeah. And like the whole time, it's just some punk who lives around the cemetery who's like, he just keeps opening it.
And then just taking her body out.
Is her body out every time?
This
No.
is what it says. Here, what it says.
Oh, you're saying that in the
Is that-
beginning he took the body out of it rather than it being buried alive.
Which had so long ago been entombed, her remains were crumbled at the foot of the mausoleum.
Oh. Well, no, I meant after that fact.
Yeah,
then
he
the
definitely
person
meant after
opening
the
it
fact.
was
Now, who the frick?
After all that happened.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, so
Man.
they took the body was out every time the door was open.
No, I
That's
think he
what
just said
they're
that first
making
time.
it
Yeah.
seem like, but
I thought
you
it
just
could
said the
be
first
just
time.
The first time.
Oh,
Yeah, but then
okay.
they kept saying it happened again and again and again. So I don't know if the same exact steps happened again, or the door was just being broken open.
The way you read it, it sounded like you were talking about it again and again. It was the door opening.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that piece of it was okay. I guess that was the constant
That was
variable.
clear, I thought.
Earlier in the story, it was just the body was on the ground the one time.
Yeah. You know what they say, man? Sometimes dead is better.
Sometimes bed is deader.
Maybe.
Pet Cemetery.
That's a dead bed.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's
I
very
just,
interesting.
I don't know. I think it's like one of those things where, like we were talking about before, where how do you at all feel confident that there wasn't outside forces opening that door and causing that commotion? Just like, I just feel like, I mean, maybe it's because it was the only one that was going through that. Because if it was like someone else, like someone was consistently doing that, they'd probably be doing it to other areas too.
Yeah.
Otherwise, some person's just like, oh, I want to construct a really freaky thing right now, so I'm just gonna like watch them lock it and then unlock it and open it over and over and over again.
Just some jackass kid.
Just some jackass kid, or just some prankster, or
Like,
like a troll, man.
and then he's just sitting in the back, like, look at these guys. Look at them. Look at them.
He's like, ooh,
here now.
can't wait to
Got
open that
'em.
shit back up.
Yeah, you think that
Nah.
shit's gonna stay closed? Not when I'm around.
Not with these nuts around.
Yeah, exactly. He's nuts.
Man, that's crazy though. It's crazy.
All right. So my next one. So you're done, right? That story's over.
Yeah.
Okay. So with my next one, this is gonna be fast because I just thought of it when Pat was going through one of his. So, and this is something that was an urban legend in other areas too, especially reading up on it. It's the one where there was a bus that was on the train tracks and a train hit it, killed the kids. And now if you put your car on the train tracks and then you like put powder on it, and then when you go in your car and it coasts like off the tracks, you see fingerprints of the kids pushing your car out of the way of the train.
That's so cute.
But something that when I had read up on this years ago, something that was come up was that the reason that it shows up as fingerprints after you put the powder down is because most people, especially in this scenario, are probably touching the back of their car. So when you put the powder on and you're not paying attention right away, it's just it's basically illuminating the fingerprints that you have already placed on there. It's bringing those to the forefront.
Yeah.
And that's where that comes from. And your vehicle's coasting probably because it's on a little bit of a tilt because it's on train tracks. Most train tracks are kind of like up a little bit. That's why you hear
that was a very romantic
over.
concept. Or not romantic. What do you call that?
Very romantic. Hey, babe,
romantic.
you want to go on the train tracks?
And not
Put
die.
some powder on the back fender.
Slowly be safe.
Be protected
On the
by some
powder.
kids.
What kind of powder we talking?
The not snorting kind.
I was gonna say it's like the
Oh,
powder they
not worth
used
it.
in
Not worth it. What do you want? Baking powder or
Yeah,
something?
baking powder.
soda?
No, I think baking powder might actually be what they use. But it's just it's another thing where it's like you get the perspective of what actually happened, and it's like, oh, huh. now you could see kind of where people misinterpreted what happened. And that's why they add this folklore to it as opposed to justifying a logical explanation.
That's really loving, though.
know,
That story is more loving than the reality of what's probably actually happening. Just because it's cute to think that they're like, oh, our job from the rest of our ghost time is to save people. But also, it's like these ghosts are watching people park their car on a train track. Like at a certain point, I feel like any
one of the
ghost would be
kids is just gonna get in the passenger seat. He's like, what are you doing, man? The kid's got a cigarette. He's just like, fuck you doing? I'm doing the thing. Just drive away, man. Just drive away.
I'm doing the thing. Or like, what if you're the one person that it doesn't work for? Like, can you imagine being that person where like you throw the powder in the back,
and your car's just sitting there,
and you're like, it's just sitting there, and it's sitting there and sitting there, and you're like trusting it. You're like, oh, it's gonna move. They're gonna move my car. But then like a train comes and hits it, and then
the kid with the cigarette's just sitting there like, I fucking told him not to park over there. I mean, I don't know what he's doing.
You're an idiot.
Just chilling, sitting back.
But then after like the train hits it, they check it for like all the damages, and they're like, your car has no fingerprints on it at all. You know,
the cops come back to the ghost kids. They're like, what were you guys doing? They relied on you to save them, and you didn't do anything. And the kid with the cigarette again, he's like, well, I fucking told him he should have just fucking pulled away, but he didn't.
The crazy thing is that the way you're talking, I feel like the kid's already super old as a ghost.
Well, technically
so
he is.
Like, yeah, he probably talks like that.
He's like, he just can't age, right? He's stuck in a kid's body.
He looks like a kid,
smoking cigarettes. He can't die from them, right? He's a ghost.
It's like the kid from Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, number 5.
Yeah,
that's how they get their entertainment. They watch the people that don't get the little. They sit there and watch them get all pissed off. Watch them get pissed off. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
You know that meme of the guy at the sports game where he's like this? Like when the people die and they come back as ghosts and they see the kids just standing there, they're like really? Like what the fuck, man?
I just think you're an idiot if you're gonna do that in the first place.
Or like the ghost is in a bad mood and just pushes the shit out the car, go flying,
flips the car over.
I'm freaking sick of this shit. Stop coming here, man.
What if like they turn the wheel and they pull the car more into the tracks?
They rotate it.
Now they're like diagonally in the tracks from like bumper to the front going onto it. So like now it's stuck on the fucking rails, like it can't move. No, that's what I want to see. See, that's the story I want. Is that they do that to you because they're pissed.
Either that, or they just slice the tires. They're like, these are being. Why are you doing this? This is how we died, dumbass. No, you're gonna have to die.
The wheels just fall off, like the bolts are coming out, and then the wheels just boop. So then it drops down to like it's bare without any wheels on it.
Or they just steal the car and they leave you there just to sit on the road.
He's like, you thought I was just gonna move it to save it?
Yeah.
Fuck that! I'm keeping this car.
It's that same kid with the cigarette, man.
Dude, that kid with the cigarette,
motherfucker's just gonna park there where I died. We didn't have a bunch of kids pushing the cars out of the way, and this motherfucker thinks he could just come here and we're gonna save his life. Yeah, nah, fuck that. I'm stealing this shit. I'm gonna go bring it to the shop, get it chopped up, get a couple bucks out of it.
Not angels. Yeah, we're not angels, bitch. We're not gonna save you.
Yeah, we're doing
that's an interesting story though, just because it's like I was saying, it's like romantic or like sentimental-esque.
Yeah,
because
there's not darkness attached to the.
There's no darkness. It seems like
it's
the opposite of the darkness that we get with these legends, where it's like, oh, if you're there long enough, you get blinded when you see the ghost or something, you know?
Yeah. But all right, go ahead, Pat, with your next one.
All right, cool. All right, bitches.
Urban.
Yeah, still urban.
Urban Outfitters.
Mikey, do you have another urban story too?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one's a fun one that you guys have probably heard about, but I don't know if you know much about it.
All right, Pat, go through your 2 right now, and then Mikey will go through his 1, and then we could go to the next section.
Sounds good. All right, this one's actually interesting because I feel like this is like the funny one people think about a lot when they think of urban legends. It's like that joke, bathroom dog, a licked hand. It's called. This girl who has a dog, and every night before goes to bed, the dog is at the foot of the bed, and she puts her hand out, and he licks it, and that's her sign that everything is okay. One night, she goes to bed, and the dog licks her hands, and but she senses that something's wrong, and the dog keeps licking her hand throughout the night when she puts it out. So she hears something dripping in the bathroom, but the dog keeps licking her hand. So she thinks everything is okay. The drip gets louder. So she goes up and goes to the bathroom. When she opens the door, there's the dog hanging. It's gross, but I can't believe I'm telling you this. You've never heard this before? It's in parentheses. It's
Wait,
like the dripping. The dripping is the dog's blood. And written on the mirror in the dog's blood is, humans can lick too. You guys never heard that one before? I've probably heard that a long time ago.
But when he first said the dog was in there hanging, I thought there was a dog just sitting there chilling. He had a bear with him. He had a cigarette like that ghost kid, and he's just hanging out.
I was licking you. I was just hanging out in here. No, it's a dead dog, and that's gross. But
yeah,
I think that's the first one. But I feel like you didn't react to what I thought you were gonna react. I thought you were gonna be like, oh, I heard this one a million times, because I thought I've heard this one before.
It sounds so. It feels like
Never heard it.
Ones that I've read a million times, in the sense that, like, okay, so the way that the story's set up, this is going on, something feels off this time, then there's a big twist reveal, and then now it's like, oh, it was this actually happening. You know, that's a formula that I've heard, especially with urban legends.
It's very formulaic.
This one specifically, formulaic, maybe.
Formulaic. That's right. Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I heard this one in particular described as so.
Interesting enough, there's a version of the licked hand in the book Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh, dude. Yep.
Yeah, there's a version of it. But let me read
Mikey's
this
mausoleum story connects to a story from Scary Stories.
You're joking. Really?
Yeah. Well, I think there's one where it's like the dead bride. They bury her. She's in the coffin. This guy kept waking up because he feels like his wife's in trouble or something. And when they open the coffin, like, her nails are all fucked up because she's been scratching, clawing to get out of the coffin. She wasn't actually dead. But yeah, go ahead.
Coffin.
Yeah, continue.
My friend relays this legend about the hanging dog in the bathroom one night to a bunch of my girlfriends. She says she heard the story at boarding school when she was younger. She says her classmates would sit around and tell scary legends after lights out. Further research into the story from the internet, I found that this legend was circulated by an email chain, as well as appeared in films. The story is often referred to the lick hand and has variations, including one with dead parents in the closet and a hiking scenario. Wow. And like I said, there's a version that was actually put into Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It's kind of interesting how I feel like these urban legends it's kind of like reminds me of like Disney, like how Disney takes these stories by like the Brothers Grimm or I don't know the other like authors or writers of certain stories, but they'll take these stories and then they make them cute, and now kids are watching or whatever for like adults. But it's interesting how urban legends, they'll get turned into movies, they'll get turned into like different versions of that story or something. And it just kind of, it's like humans just want to keep telling it. It reminds me of the movie thing we're thinking about talking later about how like originality is very minimal in a lot of ways, because sometimes people just twist something that was already told before to be something else. You know, it's like, whatever. But I think this one freaks me out the most because first off, dead dog, that's disgusting. I hate anything when animals die, which is really weird, but
except the bunnies. You obviously didn't care about those bunnies.
I mean, isn't that weird? I literally don't. I didn't even think about it till just now. But as soon as you said that, I was like, you're right, I didn't think about that. But I don't know, I always found that very interesting, humans can lick too, just because it's like interesting, because when did that human or whatever go into the bathroom and know that, oh, this lady's gonna keep letting me lick her until finally she goes in the bathroom and checks? Like, it's just that circumstantial thing where they're so confident that that person's gonna have that mindset that like it's gonna make sense when they come and read it in the mirror. Otherwise, it's like, because like, what if she decided to go down there and pet her dog and found the person licking right away, and never got to actually look, and never made it to the bathroom to read the fucking mirror, then it's like, that's a wasted mirror message, isn't it?
Is that skin?
You never even got it.
Sparky, what do you do? Oh my god.
You're a human.
The guy's like,
beating.
get behind my ears.
It starts punching it. I don't know what I would fucking do.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh shit.
You know, it reminds me of this funny ass meme where it's like there's what is it? There's a little bitch under my bed or something like that. Like mom, there's a little bitch under my bed, and then they look under the bed and there's a mirror. So like, honestly though, the stories where like something's under your bed is so fucking scary to me. Like I'm a 23-year-old
Did you see it?
man still hiding my feet from like hanging off the bed because
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing can get me.
See, I sleep on a couch a lot, and like nothing could get under that damn couch. So, except River's
Honestly?
toys, my
was gonna
son's
say,
toys. Yeah,
I mean,
That's
do
it.
people have that mentality though? They're like, if I have my bed, I'm gonna make sure my bed has something underneath it,
yeah.
just for that mere fact, just to avoid the idea that maybe someone's gonna hide under there.
Well, Kylie's still awake. Okay. 11:30 at night, and this girl's still freaking awake, chilling.
Bye,
He's the
Jasper.
best. He said hi.
But
He's laying down now. All right. Did
Mikey.
you guys pause?
down, Cloud.
Yeah, we paused.
We paused.
Alright.
I need some water. You know, I need some water.
All right, Michael,
How do
When
we
you're ready-
organically get back to it?
you could go into your next. Your one.
All right. You good? A-okay?
Yes.
I'm good.
All right. So, let's see if y'all have ever heard of this one.
All right, lay it on me.
This one happened, or this makes it seem like it's still to this day. Is in Pennsylvania, and it's the bus to nowhere.
Ooh,
So in
get me on
Philadelphia-
that thing.
In Philadelphia, there's rumored to be a bus that doesn't have an end destination. The story says that the bus only picks up passengers that are at their lowest moments, who need to get away from their problems. Once a passenger is ready to face the world, they can get off the bus. But the passenger has no idea how long they've been on the bus. It could have been hours, days, or even years.
That's crazy. Sounds relaxing though.
Just chilling. But apparently, like, imagine if it was like so many people, like the whole place is packed. Like, you're, man, bro, this sucks.
So it just knows though. It knows when you're ready to get off.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, bro, I'm ready, dude. Just get me off at the next stop. There's like 500 people in here.
So it's like an endless amount of disability. It's like you're good.
Right.
You can live on this bus for as long as you need, man. You're
Like,
good.
how do you eat?
Maybe
I think
they
you
have you
probably-
in like a quantum superposition,
Maybe.
where you're just existing outside of the realm of time.
So you don't need to eat.
Yeah, so time really isn't passing when
Okay.
you're in the bus, just on the outside.
Well, I mean, unless the question you're asking is how do you eat, as in, I think they probably use their hands and they probably use
No,
utensils.
Doofenshmirtz.
Pat,
Yeah,
why? So you said hands and utensils. Why didn't you bring up the mouth? Like ultimately, that is the
don't-
part that you eat with.
No, but they don't use their mouth. They just
Oh.
put it up to their face
Because
and
of
their
the time.
skin absorbs
No,
it.
they use their
Time's
hands.
irrelevant.
Yeah.
Their hands have little holes in the fingertips. And just,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
that-
talk about. Don't talk about it. That's disgusting. Fucking gross. No, I get you though.
is there any sort of evidence or sightings of the bus?
Like
That's it.
people being like, I was on this bus for like 10 minutes, but actually it was years. Look how I grew this beard.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them.
They got a blip beard.
Yeah.
The boy in the bathroom at Pine Haven School.
Oh, what happened to the boy in the bathroom?
That's in Tennessee.
Mm.
The Pine Haven School, located in Jamestown, is old and abandoned and is said to be haunted. A tragic story supposedly took place there, where a boy was cornered by a group of bullies in the bathroom and shoved into a mirror, which shattered and killed him.
Mm.
To avoid getting caught committing murder, the bullies decided to bury the body underneath the floorboards. Today, people say that if you go inside the school, you can see the reflection of the boy if you look in the mirror.
So can I be the first to point out the flaw in the hiding of the body? So the floorboards of the bathroom? What year did this take place? There were no tiles?
That's all it says.
They what did they pop up like the tiles? Did they?
I guess they had construction tools with them.
Yeah. It's the same guy who made sure that the mausoleum was shut tight.
Yeah.
He used the same tools that he did.
They quarantined the area. They're like, you can't come in here. We're working.
They go to the classes filled with dirt.
Caution tape up and shit.
Teachers like, where have you
Don't
been?
come in. We need to come in. You can't. We're busy in here.
Why do we hear drills going on?
We're doing something. Give us enough. We need at least a week. It's gonna take at least a week. Okay.
And where's little Tommy at?
And how do they not?
He went home. He went home.
Yeah.
Don't ask questions like that. We don't know where he went exactly, but he left the school. Bye.
Last I heard, he
We're
jumped
working.
out the bathroom toilet.
We're done talking to you.
I saw him go in the toilet. That's all I'm
He
saying.
went inside of it.
Check the
He
sewage.
jumped in the toilet. He got flushed.
Yeah.
But it wasn't us. We didn't do it.
Interesting.
Dude, that's like,
some more?
yeah, that on its on its own.
Yeah, give us one more.
All right. There's one from Utah or one from Texas. Which one you want?
Texas.
All right. Texas. The Candy Lady. In the early 1900s.
What a scary time to be alive.
Yeah. What the?
Children in an unnamed rural town in Texas started to go missing, and the residents blamed it on the Candy Lady. The story says that she would go around leaving candy on children's windows, and eventually she'd lure the kids out with notes attached, promising more candy. The story picked up steam when a farmer allegedly found rotten teeth on his farm, and later found the body of a boy with his pockets stuffed with candy. While little is known about this origin of the story,
Oh my God.
some have speculated that the Candy Lady was real and that her name was Clara Crane.
I don't know that name though.
Nope.
So, the rotten teeth on the farm.
Yeah.
Did the Candy Lady just like go over there and sprinkle some? Like
Yeah, that's what it
Tooth
sounds
Fairy?
like. It's,
Well, no, it said that he
What's the
saw
logic
that,
is like
and-
they're
and
in
then
that field and they're
found-
eating candy, and as they're eating it, their
Yeah.
teeth are falling out. They're like, "Arr." My
No,
tooth came out too.
later found the body of the boy. So he
Jolly
found the teeth
Ranchers.
first, and then started looking. But
Oh, okay.
It was
So,
a jawbreaker. He just bit too hard. The tooth came out.
yeah.
Wait,
Interesting.
Great. Maybe I was trolling too much right now. You're saying that the teeth were found in the fields in the mouth, or they were found?
no, they were just found on his farm, and then later found the body.
That's what I'm saying, though. The
Like
teeth came out of the mouth first,
Yeah.
and the body was buried somewhere else. But that's still like
Or
shocking me. We're
it could've-
joking.
it could've
Their
come
teeth
from the
came
dead
out of their
body.
mouth.
It could have come from the dead body, and maybe due to animals or weather, flooding, any sort of
Depends on
natural
how the
occurrence could have
farmland was, yeah.
separated it.
The teeth from the body.
But still,
Because it's
like,
weak teeth. Because they're weak, rotten teeth. Is that what you're
and
saying?
like, how would the
Okay.
farmer know they were human teeth, and how would he see them?
Honestly. And how does it differentiate between those teeth and the teeth of the bodies that he's killing?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Let's talk about this farmer, guys.
Everyone's
I mean,
murdering someone.
Yeah,
oh,
this
I-
farmer sounds like a
They were
killer.
just grateful
Hold
that
on.
it wasn't the bodies that they
I
were
have an
killing.
urban legend. A farmer who discovered dead body of Candy Lady murder is actually murderer himselse.
And he murdered the Candy Lady. There you go. It's full circle.
He gave the Candy Lady the candy.
Yeah, it's literally a full circle.
Yeah.
Like,
He was
it
the
came back
plug.
by the way, Candy Lady? What the heck? What about Candy Man? Why is it Candy Lady?
Well, Candyman, that name was reserved for
A
the
man.
movie. For the movie that came out in the 80s or
You can't call her
90s.
Candy Woman. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah,
She's not a woman. She's a lady.
better than Candy Girl.
Candy
Frozen
Candy
people.
Girl. But no, what I found interesting about this whole thing is that this lady's going around giving candy to people like she's Hansel and Gretel, like the witch in Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like how bad are parents back in that time where like an old lady's giving candy to kids and then now that kid is disappearing. Like at a certain point, you'd think they'd be like, "Huh, this lady." He gave candy to my kid, and then my kid went with them. Also, these notes, the parents never found these notes either that said, like, I got more candy if you're coming with me. I don't know. I feel like a lot of work came into this plan, and I think it was a little too convenient. That's all I'm saying.
Mikey's already on to the
Convenient.
next story. He's like, dude, I'm done with the
I don't
candy
care
lady.
about
I
this
just
story. Let's move on. Do you want to do your next story, or do you want me to do mine?
I got like 50 right here, bro.
Oh, fuck. Let me just do mine.
Yeah, go ahead, Patty.
All right. So everyone knows this one, and that's why. Remember before I said everyone knows this one? Are you ready? Bloody Mary.
The drink?
No, the monster or
What monster?
the lady who's in the mirror.
Who the frick is that?
Shut the. Okay, whatever. You know what? I'm gonna believe
You say
him.
Bloody Mary like 5 times, and then she appears next to you.
Yeah, let me start.
Right
it.
now?
Well,
Bloody Mary.
I mean, if you go to the
Bloody
bathroom
Mary.
right now and you do it, yeah. No.
No,
Wait.
Mikey, go ahead, but Pat, still talk about it.
Obviously,
Let
you do
him
a
do it.
TikTok. Obviously, you do a TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Bitch. Duh. I mean, how many people have done Bloody Mary TikToks? If not, you're gonna start the trend, okay? But let me do this. When I was growing up, my older brother used to tell the story of Bloody Mary. I later learned that they learned it from someone else in the neighborhood. The version that told me that the version that they told me was the virgin. The version they told me was the one I went to bed. If I had a dream about Bloody Mary, she would scratch me in my sleep. For a while, they would come into my room every night and just talk about Bloody Mary. They told me that I would dream about whatever I heard before I went to bed, so I would stay awake for hours trying to get rid of the image of Bloody Mary that seared into my mind. They said that Bloody Mary was a ghost who lived in a town in Indiana. She used to live there? And one day went crazy and killed her own brother.
Damn.
That's what they told me. Bloody Mary preyed on little boys like her brother. My brothers said ones that looked especially like me. She would come to you in your sleep and wake you up with scratches. Sometimes she even killed you. I'm not sure where the legend, since I'm older now, was told, because it was told so differently. But apparently the story is still being told to Marianne. I found that really interesting because I feel like, obviously, I heard of this story before, and I don't live in Indiana. So it's like, this is like a nationwide thing. And
Yeah.
Just a side note, I 100% feel like whoever wrote this article that I'm reading, you know, must have been like a freshman or someone super new, because the amount of errors in the writing is nuts.
Oh.
Like I literally couldn't read certain parts of it, and they used the wrong there. They used the wrong pray. They wrote pray as in like praying, you know, like praying on people. Like that's not right at all. But no, I just think it's funny. But here is actually the history of Bloody Mary that people used to talk about. Bloody Mary is based on Mary Tudor, the daughter of King Harry the Sixth, I think it says. He was famous for killing his wives. Mary saw much of the crimes her father committed and was even disowned by him. When she became Queen of England, she burned people at the stake and caused rebellion across the country. The people eventually gave her the name Bloody Mary. Some legends state that she even thought she was pregnant but never had a baby. And that's why so many Bloody Mary legends include staring in a mirror and saying, "I stole your baby, Bloody Mary." So like I never heard that one before. I never
heard
knew
I
where it
stole
came
your
from.
baby.
Yeah.
Stole your baby.
I remember Bloody Mary 5 times in the mirror. That's all. That's literally my full understanding of Bloody Mary was just you go in a mirror. I mean, you go in a mirror. You go in a bathroom, turn the light off, you spin 5 times saying Bloody Mary, and then when you look in the mirror, she's standing behind you. That's it. And literally, like I've told you in the beginning of this episode, people expect it. So when they look in the mirror, they think they see a figure. They probably didn't. But who am I to say that she doesn't exist? You know, I'm just some guy.
You're Pat.
I'm Pat.
That's who you are.
And she doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But no, I do really want Mikey to make a TikTok or something doing it. It'd be so funny. Dude, you should do
Do
it.
Bloody Mary and then have a Bloody Mary like drink that pop up behind me. Oh, shit, thank you.
Dude, honestly, you shouldn't have said that. Now it's not as clever. No, I'm just kidding. It's still pretty clever. But I would really appreciate seeing something funny out of that. But yeah, Bloody Mary is just like, yeah, it's like a staple. It's a staple urban legend and people love to say. Just to me, it just screams like paranoia and like the complete fear of just like a person being in your house and summoning. It feels very much like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice. Not gonna say one.
Candyman. Candyman's another one where
there you go. Like Candyman.
Candyman, you say it a couple times, boom.
Exactly. Or Candy Lady.
Oh, shit.
Candy Lady. Say Candy
Full
Lady.
circle.
And then
Candy lady. Hey, Candy lady.
she comes. What if like she
Can I
doesn't
get
even
some
kill you? She just
candy?
comes. She just comes out and she's got like a fucking tray of candy. She
Hey, I want to know.
picks something.
My kid, right? We're on the 3rd story, right? How the fuck she putting the food on my windowsills?
I wondered that same thing.
She
All the
just
time.
so she
She's really tall.
discriminates- So she discriminates against people that live on higher floors than the first floor.
No, I just
mean,
said
that's-
she's very tall.
Nope, she's not. She just normal candy lady.
What's normal? What's a normal candy lady?
That's a normal candy lady.
Friggin' making standards, bitch. What are you doing?
Yeah, normal candy lady.
With like a
Kills them
lady,
and gives
lady that
them
works in a
candy
candy
and then
shop, just like
kills
her?
them. No, she is a normal candy lady. She kills them after she gives food.
But yeah,
Or
no, that's
after she gives the
literally
candy.
yeah. But yeah, that's literally all I can think about when it comes to like Bloody Mary. Is just like being a kid and thinking that like it actually was gonna fucking scare you. I think the scariest thing, and I just want to add this last thing before I let someone else take over their next story. When I think about stuff like Bloody Mary or whatever, like people say stuff like, oh, you go to a haunted area and you have to like do a certain thing before you leave so the spirits don't attach to you. I always found that very weird because it's like, how do spirits attach to one person but not to other people? So example, me, Sean, and Mikey show up to a place and we all 3 of us don't do this thing, whatever you're supposed to do to get them to not follow you and attach you, right? How does she decide, or he decide, whatever, which person they're going to attach to? And then after they attach to us, how long are they going to stay with us? And then after they stay with us amount of time, do they know how to get back to where they were originally? Or is it one of these teleportation things where they're like, I teleport back to where I'm supposed to be after I visit for a little bit? These are questions I want to know.
So,
Alright, so
maybe
you heard it, right?
what?
If we have any ghosts watching, we'd love to have you on the
Oh,
podcast
yeah.
asking
Please.
questions.
Please.
You know,
Please.
like, how would you pick us? Like, well, who would you
Like,
pick out of us 3?
Yeah,
You
like,
know?
why would you pick one over the other?
Yeah.
And
So-
why would you pick Sean?
I might have an answer. So in like the preternatural, in the preternatural sense, aka supernatural sense, a spirit just operates like outside of the realm of like a normal human, right? So it could always just like almost like putting like a bug on not a bug, but like a tracking device on a vehicle to follow the vehicle. Like the spirit could just inflict just a little piece of itself on you and follow you home that way, so it stays in its current predicament while also simultaneously being able to follow you to wherever you're going, because they're operating in a realm that we don't understand, the spiritual realm, right?
Yeah.
Or if we want to justify it with quantum mechanics like I tried earlier today, they could be in a state of some sort of quantum superposition in which they were both existing in their haunting place and your house.
So you're basically telling me they're like Venom, where they just pull off a piece themselves
they're like Ant-Man. So they're able to go into the quantum state. That's how they could just go between two areas simultaneously.
I don't know,
Like
man.
the Flash, he can duplicate himself.
Yeah,
He goes so
they're
fast
using the
he can
speed
duplicate
force. Exactly.
Oh my god.
There you go.
I don't know, man. There's still questions. Even though you answered that, I still have like, well, how do they make these decisions? Like,
That's what I'm saying.
how
We
many
went on the
different
interview.
people would they like split up themselves to follow? Everyone, or just?
It could just boil down to molecules.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like if you go into that place, you catch the ghost, like you catch a cold, and then you take that ghost with you.
Yeah,
Stupid,
that could be
though.
a way. Yeah.
It's dumb though. I don't like that.
Achoo! No, you got Ben
I got
Affleck.
ghost all over my desk.
Achoo! Now you got George Washington.
What's it called?
all over again.
Ectoplasm? What's it called? The ghost stuff?
Ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm?
Ecto. I think ectoplasm.
We need Ghostbusters on this fucking podcast too.
Yeah. Where to go?
There's a lot of Ghostbusters too. There's kid Ghostbusters now. There's a whole bunch of women Ghostbusters, and then the original Ghostbusters.
No, but I mean, in all seriousness, like
There's a lot
the
of people who
Ghost
do that.
Adventures people, like the people who make little videos they put on the computer, well, on the internet, and like you see it on certain streaming services, are people that still do that. There's the guy who does Ghost Adventures. His name's Zach something. He I think he kind of has like the
Zach Baggins.
Is that his name?
Zach Baggins, yeah.
Okay.
Ashley talks about
Bagging
him.
Yeah.
what?
He's bagging. He's a
Baggins.
relative. He's a relative of Frodo. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. He has like a little museum of stuff too,
I believe it.
which is really cool because that's what the Warrens have. The Warrens that
Bless you.
the Conjuring movies base their characters off of. They also have like a little bit of a museum where they have like memorabilia based around haunting cases. Zach Baggins is kind of building the same kind of museum too, I believe.
Did you know he doesn't spell it the same way though as like Frodo and Bilbo? He spells it Bagans. So Bag-ans.
Gotcha.
Baggins.
But still though, like finding a smaller scale version of that guy would be really cool to have on here as well.
I would actually appreciate that.
Just like talk
very
about
much.
their exploits.
Especially
Like
when,
shorter? Like scale isn't like shorter?
yeah, he doesn't want anyone around his height.
No. Like
So if you're
not
under 6 foot, you can
like
join.
we
this
could
podcast.
realistically reach out to them and get them on here.
Oh,
Like
I
that
get it, 'cause
kind of
obviously we're so tiny. We're so itty bitty.
yeah.
Teeny weeny
So-
yellow polka dot bikini.